This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Davitt. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy! And the birthday boy to end the month of October is Halloween night. Hey, be fun and all that. But yeah, this is the last Sports Catastrophe for the month of October. So I did 4 years of October Sports Catastrophes, but this is huge. This man is an icon. He played for 6 teams between 1986 and 2004. Very consistent. He was good. He posted 80 RBIs every year from 1988 to 2002. That's hard to do. 15 straight years of getting at least 80 RBIs. He became the first player since the dead ball era to lead both leagues in home runs. He did that in 89 in the AL and 92 in the NL. He was known for helping the NL in the 94 All-Star game tie the game and then win it in extra innings. He was very consistent for many teams. He put up 493 career home runs. A lot of people wanted him to get to 500. But he couldn't and all that. He was known as the Crime Dog and got inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Finally, after so many years of being one of the best players never to make the Hall of Fame. Clean players, in fact. Barry Bonds and Pete Rose are not in the Hall of Fame for obvious reasons. But regardless of that, his name is Fred McGriff, who's now 61 years old. He was born and raised in Tampa. He hung out during Reds spring training when they were in Tampa. He went for baseball and all that. He did pretty well and got a scholarship offer to play for Georgia in baseball. And then in the 9th round of the 1981 draft, he was selected by the Yankees. The Yankees would trade him, though, the next year in 1982, alongside Dave Collins and Mike Morgan, to the Blue Jays for Dale Murray and Tom Dodd, one of the most one-sided deals in baseball history. Rob Nair, who wrote about that trade in a famous book, Rob Nair's Most Lopsided Baseball Trades of All Time, Worst Trades of All Time, which I owned for many years. He said that it was lopsided because it's one of the few instances that a player of McGriff's statue was actually traded before getting to the majors. So the Yankees basically needed some relief work with Dale Murray. It would be one-sided. Never mind McGriff, like how good McGriff was. But Mike Morgan was a decent, serviceable pitcher for many teams. And Dave Collins was a base-stealing threat for the Blue Jays for a couple years. So that was huge. Regardless of that, the trade made sense from the Yankees' perspective because McGriff was blocked from first base because of Don Mattingly. And Mattingly didn't want to move position, neither did McGriff. Of course, the Yankees didn't get much in return. Murray would win 3 games in 3 years with the Yankees and was out of baseball, and Dodd was released at the end of the season. So, anyway, McGriff would play in the Dominican Baseball League for many years. He made his Major League debut May 1986 as a Blue Jay, playing first base, and would become the designated hitter. His first official at bat he faced Don Schultz for a base hit. So yeah, he would only play a few games for the Blue Jays, and would enter the majors full-time in 1987, putting up 34 home runs, the first of 7 straight 30 home run seasons. He was powerful. He even led the AL in home runs in 1989 with 36. You think 36 is poetry, but remember, this is before baseball hitters had better science and a weird ball and steroids. McGriff is famous for hitting the first ever home run at the Sky Dome, now named the Rogers Center, and helped the Blue Jays win the AL East. He was a constant producer, but he would be traded in what is considered to be, in my opinion, the greatest win-win trade in history. In 1990, he would be traded at the winter meetings by Stan Pat McGillick, who would be known for standing pat and not making a lot of trades as a Blue Jays GM, but he made major trades. He got Devon White 3 days earlier from the Angels, but this was huge against San Diego. The Jays would trade McGriff and Tony Fernandez, their stalwart shortstop, to the San Diego Padres for Robbie Alomar and Joe Carter. And as I said, this has got to be the greatest win-win trade in history because McGriff played well for other teams. Tony Fernandez was a decent shortstop. And heck, the Blue Jays got Tony back in 93 after Dick Schofield got hurt. The Jays traded Darren Jackson to the Mets to get Tony Fernandez. So Fernandez came back and helped the Blue Jays win the 93 World Series. Robbie Alomar was huge for the Blue Jays in his 5 years as a Blue Jay. Then went to Baltimore. His first season there, he was in that spitting incident with Hirschbeck, which happened in Toronto, mind you. I remember watching that game on CBC. And Joe Carter, well, need I say more? 93 World Series. That's all I need to say about Joe Carter. He was a consistent hitter in the National League and led the NL in home runs in 92 as a Padre. The Padres needed to unload their high-priced veterans because they were basically out of it. And Atlanta needed help to try to catch the Giants for the division. So the Braves traded 3 minor leaguers to San Diego to get McGriff. He hit a home run in his first game with the Braves, took over from Sid Bream at first base. And funny thing was, McGriff's first ever home game in Atlanta was sparked by a real fire in the press box, which delayed the game, but McGriff still hit a home run. He was the offensive spark and one of the major reasons why the Braves overtook the Giants to win the NL West. In an era that you win your division, you're going to the playoffs. That's all. No wild cards. And there were only 2 divisions per league. 93 was the last time that happened. And then 94, we went to the 6 division format we know kind of love today. He would finish 4th in MVP voting. In the strike shortened 94 season, he had 34 home runs before the season ended. But the 94 season was huge because he was the All-Star Game MVP. After the National League were down 7-5, Jose Mesa, pitching for the Orioles at the time, came in to close the game against the National League, but McGriff hit a 2-run pinch hit home run to tie the game, and then National League in the 10th won the game. McGriff would be the cleanup hitter for the 95 Braves when they won the World Series for the first time in Atlanta. He got 2 home runs in the World Series against Cleveland and won the ring. So as a free agent, he signed again with the Braves for 4 years, $20 million. Put up 107 RBIs. And helped the Braves make the 96 World Series, which they lost. In 97, he would hit 22 home runs. All that. The Braves would not protect McGriff during the expansion draft. And strangely enough, neither Tampa or Arizona took him in the expansion draft. Nevertheless, the Braves decided to trade McGriff to Tampa for a player to be named later. Kind of symbolic because they thought McGriff was losing it, and also they wanted McGriff to go to his hometown team because Tampa was getting an expansion team. Good on the Braves. McGriff would hit 19 home runs in his first full season with the Rays and had a major renaissance in 1999, hitting .310 with 32 home runs. McGriff would then go to free agency and join the Cubs. He looked good in 2001 with the Rays, but the Cubs were pursuing him. He waived his no-trade clause to move to the Cubs and hit 12 home runs in 49 games. He would play for the Cubs in 2002, but would leave. And, after 30 home runs, the Cubs didn't take him back, which was shocking. Well, they got Derek Lee in a trade. No, sorry. Was it Derek? Did they pick up Derek Lee or did they trade Derek Lee? I can't remember. But regardless of that, the Dodgers gave him a 1-year deal. And a lot of people said that he was going to get the 500 home run, but it didn't happen. During spring training in 2004, the Rays got McGriff back and would hit 2 home runs in a sporadic play. The Devil Rays would release McGriff and all that. And he decided to retire during spring training of 2005. So, anyway, he was a special advisor for the Rays for 3 years. He had 10 seasons of at least 30 home runs. In fact, he and Gary Sheffield are the only players ever to hit 30 home runs in a season for 5 teams. McGriff did it for the Jays, the Padres, the Braves, the Rays, and the Cubbies. He actually hit the most home runs in a 5-year span between 1989 and 1984 by any player. Even Bonds McLaren didn't even do so. He looked pretty good. He was eligible for election in 2010 by the Baseball Hall of Fame. In his first year of eligibility, he was hit 21%. He was allowed to continue on future ballots because the rule is once you're on the ballot and have less than 5%, you practically can't be inducted, in a sense. Unfortunately, after 10 unsuccessful appearances, he was off the ballot in 2019. However, the Contemporary Era Committee, in their turn to get someone to the Hall of Fame, or the Veterans Committee, made it the Contemporary Era, the players in the 80s and 90s, and would elect both McGriff and Scott Rowland to the Hall of Fame July 2023. So that's just amazing and all of that. He said that going to the Dominican League to play winter baseball was just perfect and all that. McGriff has a wife and 2 children, and he's done pretty well for himself. And yeah, Fred McGriff, big Blue Jay. Would he have been the biggest Blue Jay first baseman of all time? No. The move by the Blue Jays to San Diego was huge because McGriff was a good first baseman, yeah, but John Olerud was up through the system, and Olerud needed to be groomed for first base, and it worked out. As I said, it was part of the biggest win-win trade in baseball history. Fight me on it. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond.